thumbnail got you here, and I hope the content keeps you here. Today we're going to go over these fuel dollies that I have and explain some of the pros and cons about them. I've got my wife here today, and she's going to help with some of the videoing and also going over some of the pros and cons. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about fuel dollies. So let's start off with, these are not a sponsored item. I'm too new to this to be sponsored for anything, so it all comes out of my pocket. And yeah, I've had these for a couple years now. They're a 14-gallon, and I don't know if you can read that upside down, 14-gallon Flo N Go by Duramax. And what they are is a fuel dolly, and I got them off of Amazon. Pretty inexpensive. Bought them a couple years ago. I don't know if they've gone up and doubled in price since then as well. But what it is it's a dolly. It's got wheels on it, both of them. And you can physically tip it down and walk it around. Take it to wherever you need to go to fuel up your tractor, your lawnmower, your side-by-side, your ATVs, whatever you'd like. Now, it's basically like your gas station pump handle, and how it works is you pull that, the fuel comes out, but it only comes out if you pump this handle. You got to sit here and pump the handle to get the fuel to come out. So there's like a little pump mechanism in here, and it works really good if you're filling up a little small half a gallon, maybe even a 1 gallon fuel tank on a pressure washer or a lawnmower or something like that. But if you're putting in 5, 10, and 15 gallons in something, say like a side-by-side or a wave runner or a jet ski, then it becomes real hard unless you're out with this on a dock. You can take this out on a dock for your wave runner and fill it up there. And I suggest with fuel prices now, you can save about $1.50 between marina fuel pumps and regular fuel pumps in town. So this makes it handy for taking it to those places if you want to save a little money there and still be able to enjoy your toys out on the water. So I'd like to talk about some of the benefits with these. And one is, like I said, they're mobile. You can take them out to the lake, you can take them to your dock to fill up your wave runner, and say you've got a side-by-side or your four-wheeler and you're out in the woods and you run out of gas, you can physically take one of these with you, and it's pretty simple to get it there, and it holds more than a couple gallons, so you can fuel up a couple buddies or take it with you on a ride. Very handy with having the fuel nozzle. Like you can see, looks just like a regular fuel nozzle, only this has the pumping action in it that pumps the fuel when the jug is sitting down on the ground like that. So there's an added benefit that if you can get the jug up higher than the fuel tank, then it creates a siphon as you're filling something up, and you physically only pull the handle one time, and that siphon actually brings the fuel in, and you don't have to stand there and pump. Because I can tell you, after about 20 or 30 of those hand pumps on this thing, your hand starts to get tired. So the best thing to do is get this higher than the tank that you're filling. I wanted to go over a couple other things that I did with these fuel dollies. Is I've actually, if you see here, this tag is not something that's standard or comes with these fuel dollies. What I did was I took a piece of polyethylene, I believe, sheet, and cut a round hole in it so it fit over the fuel neck, and that's where I used this to hold that on. It just locks itself in. But why I did this is right now this tank is fueled with 87 octane, and if I take it out and use it for, say, a wave runner or a high performance engine or something, and I put 93 in here, or 91, but I put the 93 so I could tell the difference between 87 and 93 when I do have a more expensive higher octane fuel in there. So we're on 87, put that on there, and literally, yeah, it flops around a little bit, but it always tells me, or my wife or my kids or whoever, if I needed somebody else to grab my fuel jug, I would say, hey, grab me the 93 octane fuel, and they would know exactly which one it was. These have a little vent cap on here inside the cap itself, so you can unscrew that if you're leaving it set out in the sun, or if it's in the back of your side-by-side where you're out riding somewhere or whatever. But it's nice with that little vent in there. And then when you go to fill these at the gas station, you lay it down to fill it, open the lid up, leave that on there, and then you put your gas nozzle in to fill that up. And it's got dual shut-offs down here. One is a shut-off for the hose itself, and one is shut-off for the tank. Yeah, they're on the same line, but for some reason, in case you ever wanted to undo the hose and not have it with the tank, you can shut off at the tank. And you can also remove it, shut it off here, so any fuel that's in your hose doesn't leak out as well. So that's the reason why there's two shutoffs on the bottom side of this, which makes it very handy. All right, so we've gone over these fuel tanks, and like I said, they are a Flo N Go by Duramax. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them other places as well, but this is where I got these, was on Amazon about 2 or 3 years ago. And like I said, back then they were relatively inexpensive. I don't know what they are now. Very handy, very useful. I have gotten rid of all my other fuel cans, fuel drums, fuel tanks, whatever. The new style fuel tanks that they have out, or fuel cans that they have out, have those stupid fillers on them. The government fillers is what a lot of people call them. And they are just absolute terrible to try and fill anything up where you've got to depress the one valve as you're holding the jug. And in today's prices, where gas is just through the roof, you really can't afford to spill a drop of this anymore. And that's the nicest thing about these fuel dollies, is you literally do not spill fuel out of them when you're filling up your tanks. You can see when you're in it, you're not dumping half of it down over the engine and over the gas tank with these when you're doing them. So, you know, this video here today is to try to maybe help you guys and make your life a little easier if you've never seen these. And as of 3 years ago, I have never seen one myself either, until I saw my brother had one out at the lake, and he come wheeling down onto the dock with it, and I went, wow, what is that? That sure would make my life a little easier. So after seeing that, I instantly got on Amazon and ordered a couple for myself. And what a savings, what a change. But what I do want to talk about is the elephant in the room here. And by literally the elephant, they're heavy. They're really heavy. So a fuel jug like this, full at 15 gallons, is pretty close to 110, 112 pounds, somewhere around there. But either way, it's pretty heavy. So what you have to do is, if you're putting it in your vehicle, if you don't want to fill it while it's in your vehicle, which you shouldn't, but you tip it down, and it's got a little spot down under here, and along with the handle, and you can pick it up. All right, so now let's say when you're going to fill your side-by-side up, you've wheeled this thing over, and I do want to make a point that if you fill this up at the gas station and transport it, they lay down on their backs like this anytime you transport it around. So that's how, if it's in a vehicle, in the back of your pickup truck or in the back of your side-by-side, wherever you might have it, you transport them with them laying down, and then they've got spots you can put straps across them to hold them down. But anyhow, let's get back to what we do when we fill the side-by-side with one of these. And just wanted to show you this and how it works. Take the fuel cap off. You got to put it in there, and you got to keep pumping this thing and pumping it and pumping it and pumping it. And that's just throwing the fuel into the tank. And when you stop pumping it, there's no more fuel coming out of it. So that led me to believe that there's got to be a better way. And in my case, where I can keep my fuel cans in the garage or in the workshop and go from there. So let me show you what I've come up with, because I know there's got to be a better way. And I'll show you now this thing here. This was my very first ever welding project on aluminum. I'd never welded aluminum before a day in my life, and I thought, well, I'll give it a try because I had something that I wanted to make with it. And I'll have my wife come in here, get a little closer, and show you what we've got going on. Basically, it is just a stand that I welded up, and I actually got this aluminum out of a scrapyard. I went down to our local scrapyard and picked this up, and I just cut and scabbed together everywhere I could for the support I needed. And as you can see, there's some legs on it, and imagine that, a couple pair of old training wheels off of a bicycle I used, bolted them in after I welded on the brackets, and I come up with a trailer hitch winch, whether it be a boat winch or for a side-by-side or whatever for on a trailer. But as you crank that up, that cable runs up to the top. I welded on some tabs, and I machined up a nylon bushing, feed the strap through that bushing, and then it comes down to this side. And I had to make a custom bracket here that fit over the handle of the fuel dolly. And what that does is I hook it up under that fuel dolly and then can crank it up. Why do I crank it up? Well, because I want to get the fuel dolly higher than whatever tank that I am filling. And I'll show you here, I'm going to have my wife wheel this dolly in and show you how easy it is to do. But then I'm going to show you also that I don't move this dolly around. I keep it in the garage, and then I can pull the lawnmower or the snow blower or the side-by-side. I keep it at the corner of the garage door, so it makes it a lot easier to just say back the side-by-side in, or back the push mower in, or whatever, the pressure washer. Anything that requires some fuel and some ease of filling it. And right now, I'll be honest with you, I hate when I lose any fuel on the ground or over the top of the tank. And these tanks here, these Flo N Go Duramaxes sure make it nice for saving every drop when it's so expensive right now. So let's get to showing you what this dolly is and why I really made this to go with these Flo N Go fuel dollies here to make it so much easier. So we're gonna have my wife show us all here how easy this is to do. So just pull the tank into the feet of it, hook that latch on, start cranking up, and she's going to take and lift this thing up. And what we're trying to do is get that tank above the tires, so now it'll siphon feed in. So right about there should be good, Autumn. Want to go ahead and latch it, and then we'll go ahead and show you now what happens when I go to fill that. Take the hose off, take the tank, put it in, give it a couple pumps to prime it, get it started, and as you can see, it's sitting here flowing fuel as I drip it down the side of the machine. But hopefully you can see that going in there. And now I literally don't have to do any more. All I'm doing is holding this valve open, just like you would at a gas station, until it's full. And I think that's actually makes it a lot easier just to sit here and hold it when it's open. And let's say you're filling a small push mower or a pressure washer or something like that. Literally, it's just a matter of minutes and it's full. And you can see in, and there's no spilling of the fuel on the equipment or the machine, especially when you have a full tank of gas. A full gas can, and you're sitting here trying not to spill it before you put it in and just making a mess. So like I said, you know, with this day's prices of fuel, every drop counts. So we'll go ahead here, I've let off on the handle, we're done filling it. And it's just that simple, not dripping, nothing. Put the cap back on, wind this back up, and you're good to go. All right, so you can see how mobile this is with the training wheels on the side. going to bring it back into where I normally keep it. Park it right here. And then I'm going to have my wife bring the fuel dolly in, and we're going to bring that up to where it stays. And again, like I said, when you crank this up and you leave it here until the drum is empty, it makes life so much easier, because then I just bring whatever vehicle to this and fill it up and then take it back as I need it to use it. But again, bring the dolly in, bring it up, leave it on the stand for the entire time until the fuel's empty out of it. Take it back off, get it filled, and rinse, wash, and repeat. Makes life pretty simple. So just wanted to show you this and what is out there. Some of you might not have ever seen the fuel dollies. And like I said earlier, you know, there just has to be a better way to transfer the fuel rather than sitting there and squeezing that handle forever. So that's why I come up with this lift. And as I was talking, you could actually take and put one of these winches, these boat winches that's on here that I mounted, you could actually take one of those and mount it to the wall and use some boards on the wall somehow and create a winch for yourself if you didn't want to have a mobile stand, or you couldn't do any welding or whatever. I believe you could get creative enough and put a winch on the wall and lift that up and leave it locked in its position up there, so you could do the same exact thing at your house. Or you could take and you could hang a hook on there, but you got to get somebody to help you lift that up on there to the hook. Because like I said, those fuel dollies are a little over 100 pounds when they're full, and it's pretty awkward to try and pick one of those up over your head. So that's why I came up with this setup. And we'll finish out the video by having my wife get this put back together and all set up, so you can see just really how easy it is. So now my wife has graciously volunteered to bring one of the fuel dollies in and show us again for one last time how easy it works. We'll set it up and get it in place.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. You got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon.
So there's my setup. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. If you like the video, please hit the like button. That would be the thumbs up. Share it with friends if you think they could use a setup like this, and also subscribe to the channel. We'll always have more cool content coming out that maybe you just didn't know there was, or some more of my crazy inventions. So again, thanks. Autumn, you want to say goodbye?